everyone, it's Harry Frankfurt, and today's story time is about nearly getting drugged. Obviously the moral of this story is be a little more careful, but you'll see. So I've told a story time about this particular night in question, and I will link it in the cards, whichever one it is. If you've seen that video, you would know that it didn't end very well anyways, but I think I got off pretty scot-free. So, here's what happened. A friend of mine from work and I went out drinking. We were already shit-faced by the time we got to the club. Like, very legitimately, we sat down at my apartment at the time and we drank a bottle of vodka between the two of us. We both thought that would be fine. Like, I don't mean like a little bottle of vodka, I mean like the full-on fucking bottles of vodka. So we finished one of those in like an hour or two. It was probably only an hour because I would have finished work at 8 and the area would have closed at 9, and then we went out and we were fucked. So we had an entire bottle of vodka to ourselves, like between two people, so half a bottle each. We were fucked. We were really fucked. And we get there, and the first thing we do is we get another fucking drink, and I think we finished one and went to get another one or something, but eventually we do find ourselves at the dance floor where no one else is. Right, so normally the dance floor of a club or whatever is normally, what do you youths call it, poppin', you know, there's normally people there, but of course because we had gotten there by like 10 p.m, no one was there. Like, it was empty, it was dead, it was just me and my friend, and then I was like literally dragging strangers from the bar section. So like, the bar is off to the side, so you walk in, you got the bar, and then you gotta go through this corridor to get to the dance floor. And the DJ was shit, and there were some women that were clinging onto the DJ and his friends, and none of them really wanted to associate with drunk people. I don't know what they were doing at a club at that time. They hated their lives. They were on their side, they were behind the booth. So that's cool. I didn't have any friends there except for my friend. We were both really drunk, and I was trying to make it more exciting, so I was dragging people from the bar over to the dance floor. I think we had a few people come. There were some creepers. This is where the story gets interesting. So I had my handbag and I think maybe a sweater, because it was like June, July. I had my handbag and my drink at the table, and my friend had his drink at the table as well. We left that there and we were trying to get people over, so I was trying to drag people over, and obviously people had noticed me trying to get people to fucking come to the dance floor and just dance, right? And eventually we have this crowd of people who looked kind of sketch, and they were just kind of floating. They didn't want to dance directly, they just wanted to watch from the other side of the fucking room. The more I think of this, the more I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. So I'm here with my friend on the dance floor. Our table is kind of here, and the group of creepy people are here, so they're closer to my stuff than I am. And they look creepy, right? Anyways, so I'm still constantly trying to bring people over to the dance floor, trying to get this fucking night exciting, because my friend was kind of sketching me out a bit. And then I finally get a guy who I thought was reasonably attractive to come to the dance floor, and I was trying to dance with him, and my friend was getting a little bit handsy, it was getting a bit uncomfortable. Every so often we're going back and sipping from our drinks and coming back to the dance floor, sipping from our drinks, coming back to the dance floor. And I don't know where the mix-up has occurred. I don't know if I left and he was busy somewhere. I don't know where the mix-up has occurred. But eventually my friend gets kicked out for being a little bit creepy, because obviously the security don't know that he's my friend. And my friend is trying to like cling onto me and push this guy that I was dancing with away, not realizing, because it's too loud for me to explain. We're both too drunk to explain. Like, we're literally fucked. We've had at least half a bottle of vodka each. We're munted, dumb idea, and he's not understanding that I'm trying to dance with this person. He thinks this person's being creepy when I'm just being like a little hoe down on the dance floor. And so anyways, my friend gets kicked out, right? He, by this stage, has finished his drink, and then I think I'd forgotten that I had a drink, because I went to go buy a drink for myself instead of leaving the bar. Whew. And then if you want to know the rest of what happens to my night, you can click on the card and watch that video, because that explains where I went with my night. It was honestly nowhere fun, to be honest with you. Turns out my friend, shortly after being kicked out of the bar, has absolutely no recollection of the night from that stage. Like from that stage, he had finished his drink and he was kicked out, and then nothing, right? And I mean, I've had nights where there's a big chunk of nothing, but it's not until way later on in the night, like New Year's this year, nothing. Ask Aaron, nothing. So I've had nights like this, but he said that he was, and he had told me that he can drink quite a lot, and he's taller than I am, he's bigger than I am, and he's a man. So there's no reason why I can still remember massive chunks of this night after he gets kicked out and he can't. And so there's this massive chunk of nothing until he wakes up the next day, mind you, where he has no recollection, okay? He's only had the same amount of alcohol that I have. I'm totally fine. I'm 5'2", only 50 kilos at this stage. I was maybe 50, 52 kilos. And I'm fine. I have great recollection of the night at that stage. I mean, not great recollection, but considering how much we had to drink. He has nothing. No recollection of the night. And that's not even the most like, oh my god, he was drugged part. He had apparently vomited all over himself so profusely that he was hospitalized. He went to hospital, and I mean, look, it could have been alcohol poisoning, but it shouldn't have been, because when I went out this night, I hadn't been drinking for ages. So if anyone was gonna get alcohol poisoning for drinking that much, it should have been me. I would have honestly thought it would be me. Although, I mean, thanks mom and dad for being alcoholics, it probably is never going to be me. It was half a bottle of vodka and an extra drink. We were drunk by the time we got to the bar, but then he leaves after finishing a drink that we had not been looking after, and he is fucked. And there was a sketchy ass group of people that were loitering around and not wanting to get involved in like actually talking to me or anything. They just wanted to watch from the other side of the room, nearer my bags and my stuff than I was. Like both of our drinks were there, and I don't know if I'd already finished my drink or something. I may have already finished my drink, because when I go out to bars, I drink real quick because I use a straw. Pro tip, if you want to get drunk real fast, use a straw, because ice gets in the way. He was obviously drinking like a man does. Anyway, there was a drink there. And I honestly, and he is of the same mindset. Unfortunately, he didn't get any discharge papers of like why he was hospitalized. They just thought he had alcohol poisoning. They gave him some, IV of fluids, and obviously got him good and sober, got him out of the hospital. He has no recollection of anything. He's thrown up all over himself. He's lost things, he's ruined things. He has no recollection of the night at all. He is a man who is like taller than me by like at least a foot. Like he's tall, and he drinks on a regular basis from what I know. And like the only thing that I can think of, and the only thing that he can think of, is that when the men standing at the other side of or someone, anyone, whoever it was, right, saw that there was a handbag and 2 drinks. One finished, most likely. This was a long time. This was June, right? When someone would have seen a handbag and some drinks, they would have thought that it was my drink, and they would have put the drugs into it. I truly think it was that group of guys who were standing in the corner, because they were just kind of standing there watching as if they were waiting for something to happen. And then my friend got kicked out, and then I was fine. And I was actually, I mean, I wasn't super fine, but I was able to function. I have enough memory of the night for me to be like, oh wow, like his experience was so incredibly different from mine. I mean, again, if you've watched that video, mine wasn't great, but it wasn't one of those nights where you're like, fuck, what happened? And it wasn't even one of those nights where he has no recollection of the night at all. And he was in hospital, and he had thrown up all over himself, and he had lost things, and apparently he had torn his jacket or something. Like, it was really bad for him. And he was kicked out of the club, and that's what happened to him after having half a bottle of vodka and a drink. And I honestly think it was the drink at the club that did it to him, and I think he was roofied, and I think he was roofied in place of me, sacrificial lamb. Honestly, look, I can sit here and I can say that the universe is just looking out for me, which I truly believe it is. Like, there's no reason for that night to have gone the way that it did and for me to still be alive. Like, I truly believe that there is a stronger purpose for me in this world and for everyone, mind you. Like, it's not just like, I'm so perfect. It's like, everyone has a purpose in this life and the universe will protect you where it needs to, whatever. But I honestly think that the greater message of this night is make sure you have a trustworthy friend with you and that you have at least one almost sober friend with you at all times, and that if you're going to drink excessive amounts, that you finish your drink before you put the cup down, because you don't want to have potential drinks being spiked. I mean, I'm normally pretty good with my drinks, and I've never really had any problems with drinks getting spiked before, so this was really scary for me because, like, you would think that a small girl going to a bar on her own, which I've done many times before, is like a hazard, like a real fucking hazard. And, you know, I've always kind of been safe. And then, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, he honestly has absolutely no recollection of the night. He threw up all over himself. He ended up in hospital, and like, the only thing that he said is that he thinks he was drugged because he has no recollection. Like, it was literally like, lights are gone. I don't know. I've had that happen with alcohol, but I've had far more than that to get to that point. And again, he's a bigger guy. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But the point of the story, even if it wasn't drugs, even if I wasn't meant to be roofied, even if it wasn't those nefarious looking fucking guys, you know, is that nefarious? I feel like that's like mean and evil. Even if it wasn't the fucking creepy guys in the corner of the room staring at me, the point is, never risk it. Look after your drinks, finish your drinks, always keep yourself under control, you know, contain yourself, so to speak. Make sure that you have your wits about you at least somewhat, because I think that is a really intelligent thing to do. And I think also, you know, have your wits about you enough to be able to, like, when your friend gets kicked out, you go with them. Ridiculous fucking all of it. Like, if your friend gets kicked out, you go with them. If you've got a drink at a bar, don't leave it unattended. Maybe don't be calling strangers to come and join you on the dance floor, you dirty little hoe. Yeah, there was a lot of things from that night that I think are story times, because they are lessons, and I only do story times that are lessons. So I hope you learnt something from this experience that I had to go through. And I mean, I didn't even really have to go through it at all. Thank you to my friend for having to go through this for me to learn a lesson and for you guys to learn a lesson. So everyone say thank you for that or something. I don't really know. Hope you guys like this story. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I will be making more of these. There's a few others that I need to make, and you guys will see those in a story time playlist that I have. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, bye!